Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I'm really excited for this video, I can't lie to you. It's been rough these last few days doing the Euros on me Todd, on me lonesome, so it's great to chat Leeds. We haven't done it for a while, and I've got 4 very good other content creators with me as well to just chat Leeds United. Bit of a roundup, really, see how everyone's feeling. See what people's thoughts are with Leeds United. Remember, the fixtures are only out next Wednesday, and then it'll be, before you know it, we play Harrogate in a pre-season friendly when the Euros is finished. So, yeah, it's coming around quick. So, yeah, we've got loads of stuff to get into because we haven't spoken for a while. Please smash a like on the video. Make sure you check out everyone's channels as well. Yeah, City and Leeds fans, Joe B, Leeds United The View, and of course, Oh No Better, who, by the way, have a live this week on Thursday with Larry Nance Jr. live at 8 o'clock. So that should be a very good watch. 8:30, sorry. Should be a very good watch because he's got coin in Leeds United, so maybe he can tell us how much Summerville's going for and who we're going to buy. The link to that video is in the description, so go there, put your notifications on and all that jazz. But before we get into the Leeds stuff, let's find out how people are. Jack, you've been the forgotten man. I haven't seen you for about a month, 2 months. Finally graced us with your presence, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, cheers. So, yeah, not bad. Been busy avoiding you, so
yeah.
Much to be honest, mate. It's fake news, the avoidance as well. Fake news.
He lies. Joe, how are you, mate? All good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm a little bit sad. I feel like there's like an empty void inside me because I've not got any random European nations to get invested in this lunchtime. But outside of that, pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad for the respite, to be honest, mate. I'm absolutely fucking knackered. Joe, how's things with you, my man?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Thought I'd take an hour off my lunch break to come and chat with you today. And I have to say, I'm really annoyed at Joe Blackburn because my plan today was to have a Euros game on in the background while I was working, or if that wasn't on, Joe Blackburn will have a Football Manager stream going on. I can watch that in the background, and now he's here, so that's ruined my day. Thanks, Joe.
Joe Blackburn's planned a Football Manager stream for about 3 o'clock.
There you go.
Love it.
There you go. I'm just disappointed you told me no and found out Joe wasn't doing a stream and then said, I can come on now, Joe. So is that what it's about, Joe?
Pretty much exactly what the way it went, yeah.
And of course, Luke, man, you're looking very tan. Have you been hitting them beds like me, mate? You're looking quite tan. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, mate.
No, I haven't, mate.
Like me, because I'm so pale.
Yeah, it's quite dark in my room as well. But no, I don't do the sunbeds out like that. I just like a little bit of vitamin D, whichever vitamin it is that you get from the sun. I didn't want to get the wrong one then, because if it's definitely not vitamin D, that could have alternative meanings, couldn't it?
It is. I think it is. I think it is vitamin D.
Can I have some of what you're taking? Can I? These are not the same colours, Luke.
Do you not remember early 90s when everyone were drinking Sunny D and it were turning them green and that, apparently? Maybe get on that, man. Get on some Sunny D back in the day. That'll sort you out, man.
Yeah. It was the green is the colour I was going for, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone looking like Shrek.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, this is a great shout, this. The Leeds equivalent of Loose Women. I'll be... I haven't watched it in years, but I'll be Jane McDonald. I think that's one of them.
She's actually my nana's mate, you know, Jane McDonald.
Yeah, you mean you're the only one that everybody actually kind of likes? That's funny how you've picked her.
You'll be that, what's the Janet Street Porter, you, Jack? Brilliant, man. Right, let's get stuck into some Leeds stuff. Jack, Summerville, yesterday it was announced by Fabrizio Romano that Brighton have begun talks. Then Fabrizio Romano did a video with Ben Jacobs later on that evening talking about 35 to 40 million. I know you're not big on talking funds and all that stuff, are you, to be fair? But go on.
I'll get involved in them. I don't mind talking about the money or whatever. I just, obviously there's going to be a certain figure that you demand for certain players and stuff. I just mean how I view a transfer market in general would be, has it been a decent market or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me at the moment is we seem to be, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, really. I think 49ers are pretty quiet about stuff out there, but I just don't want to wait and see what money's coming in and, in terms of, rather than being on the forefront, like going out and getting players. Previously, we've sort of been on the move, haven't we, where we've thought, well, we've brought him in, he might leave. It's all, but I feel like it's the other way around a little bit this time. But 40 million, to be fair, for Summerville,
it's crazy, isn't it?
I do think that is a bit, he's relatively unproven in Prem as well. I think Brighton's not a bad move for him in fairness, but like Liverpool or Chelsea, I can't imagine that actually being real, to be honest.
It's quite interesting, like, because Fabrizio Romano said, if I read between the lines, Joe, I don't know if this is right, but it was almost like Brighton need to get it done before the 30th of June. Because if they don't, then that's when Liverpool and Chelsea will come a knocking. So it must be something to do with FFP where they're trying, and PSR, to try and get this done before that deadline. Because if not, then they're going to get a lot of competition. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, he said that they're in a rush to get this done, which is why they've gone early with the words. And he said that because the top 6 have FFP situations, Brighton have decided to steal a march on them and get in ahead and try and get it done quickly. But he also said next couple of days will be very big in this deal, but then went on to say the next 2 or 3 weeks will be important with this. Now, whether that means Liverpool and Chelsea come in and go, look, we're interested, we'll give you an offer, we'll match that, we'll better it, but we're not going to do it till the 1st of July. We'll have to wait and see on that. It's also an interesting price point as well, because it's in the mix of what Liverpool like to play around with. 35-40 million is kind of Liverpool's, big signing bracket. They won't go higher than that, Liverpool. They won't go into the 50s and 60s or any more higher than that if it ever did get to there. But Chelsea with Brighton side by side, you want Chelsea involved in this because that will jack the price up. They want young English talent, but he's come through the youth system at Leeds, so they want that young talent as quickly as they can get it to add to what they've got. Sterling's leaving, possibly heading to West Ham, so a natural replacement for him. But you want to get them in as quick as possible, because if there's one team involved, 35 million could be the bid. If you can get a second, third team involved, maybe 40, 45, but they'd want to get them involved soon.
Yeah, 100%. And Andy makes a good point here, Joe B, that fans seem philosophical to losing key asset. I think we're all smart enough to know that players will have to leave. And someone mentioned it on a stream I did, one of the Euros games, saying like it's like a sacrificial lamb, right? Yeah. But it's quite handy that it's Summerville, because it may mean that we might need to only sacrifice one of the lambs and the others will get to grow up to be sheep or rams. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense, if that's a good analogy, Joe. I don't know.
I think you got a little bit lost in the analogy, but I kind of see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. They get to grow up. They don't have to die young, yeah? Is that... No? Okay, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it being Summerville, to be honest with you, because I think towards the end of the season, as much as a lot of people were saying, like, we've slipped defensively and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of the issue that we had was teams figured out that we tend to get the ball to Summerville, and then Summerville will try and take on a man, realize he can't take on a man, go back a step, and then try and take him on in a slightly different direction. And eventually, sometimes that might work. But when that happens like 6, 7, 8 times a match, and on the other flank, you've got Dan James being like, I've got 20 yards of space around me to run into. Please just ping a ball in my direction. I think what will sort of happen here is we'll get 30 to 40 million quid in and a better balanced team as a result of it, rather than sort of relying so hard on that one side, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout. Andrew as well, like, again, come back to that sacrificial lamb. Someone has to go. I think people are getting it twisted as well, because Summerville's not pushing through a move. They've got it into their heads that he wants to stay. Summerville will want to go to the Premier League, in my opinion. It's a good thing for Leeds United that he isn't pushing through a move, because it makes our card stronger when going to the table. Because obviously we've got a player there who's not saying, well, I refuse to play, I'm not training and all that jazz. Because if that happens, then the club who's wanting to buy him is aware, and they can obviously cause a few issues. So listen, he will want to go for sure.
It's secondary though. His wish is ultimately at a second question. The first question is, has anybody put a bid in for the player? Yeah, they have. So that's that off the table. Leeds are considering that offer. They're in talks with Brighton. Yeah. So it's irrelevant right now what Summerville wants. When it gets down to the stage of the bids being accepted, then it becomes what Cree wants. Does he want to go there? Can he agree personal terms? Does he have other options? But until that point, it's not his choice.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Luke, I know you can be a bit passionate like myself, a bit of a passion merchant at time. Ryan says, good riddance to the players who don't want to put the cherished white shirt on. See you, good luck. I actually get frustrated at this stuff, because all of a sudden when a player's leaving or towards the end of the season, it becomes shit in Leeds United's fans' eyes. It's like Summerville's never carried us throughout the full season, and without him we wouldn't be anywhere like we are. I mean, we'd be losing a fantastic player, right? But he goes with my blessing because of the season that he's gave us, and he also, in a sense, didn't he wasn't a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? He
No,
wasn't
yeah.
a knobhead.
No, absolutely. I think shame we didn't go up, because I think it'd have been a massive part of our plans next year in the Premier League, and part of that rebuild, if you like, to becoming a stable Premiership side, and it'd have been important in that for me. But I don't think his stock as a Championship player is ever going to be as high. I think he had a really good season for his last season. We signed him for less. I think it was just over £1 million, 1.2 million quid, if I remember rightly. And to sort of return that 30, 35 times over is massive, not just for the club, but also I think he's replaceable. I think what he did for us, you can get elsewhere. Look, every time he stepped inside and he took that shot, it was going goal bound, or somewhere around. But it'd be a shame to lose him. I absolutely agree with you in terms of going with the blessing. He stuck around last season. We didn't hear a murmur of him actually wanting to leave last season, when I was all up in the air, with Gnonto refusing to play and all these stupid contracts with clauses in where they could go out for loan. He just stuck by, and you know what? I think that's probably opened a few more eyes around Ellen Road, but not also Ellen Road, around other players. Aaronson as an example, maybe seeing how effective Cree was last season, working hard and having a season in the Championship, and realised actually it's not too bad for my stock. He's come out the Championship Player of the Year last season, and his stock, as I say, I don't think his stock could get much higher in terms of being whilst he's a Championship player. But look, if we're realistic about it, rather than a bit overly optimistic, he's going. Like, we are going to lose Cree Summerville. We need to get over the facts now. What we can get for him is the next question, and I think 35 million is more than fair value for somebody who's had one very good season in the Championship.
Can't hear you, Joe.
I can't hear you, Joe.
Sorry, I've muted myself, my bad. You're getting 30 million regardless minimum, because they paid 30 million for João Pedro last summer, so straight away you're going, well, we've got a better asset than that. So, we're going to get big money for him. And like you said, Luke, when you bought him for 1.5 million, it's definitely an order in the tick camp, if you like. He did really well with that one, and it's going to massively help our PSR issues. Just, you mentioned contracts there, and I just want to get Jack's thoughts on Aaronson, actually, and Joe, because I've not spoken to you yet on the Aaronson stuff. But Jack, I've sort of stuck my sail to the mast and said he's going to boss it, and I'm actually excited to see what he's going to do in the Championship. What's been your situation, Jack?
I saw your tweet. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, the stare it caused.
Oh, mate, I like to do that as well, because I can see people going mental.
Well, I like to watch it go, yeah.
I just mute it, so I don't know what's being said, bro, so it's all good.
It's just for me to read then.
Yeah.
But no, I'm all for it. I don't want any of them back, but equally, you just have to take a step back to some extent, don't you? And we had this chat, didn't we, actually, towards the end of the season last year,
Yeah.
But if you didn't know who Aaronson was, like I didn't when he turned up the first time, and he looked all right on the ball, he was sharp, he looked like he could beat a player and stuff, I was into him. Do you know what I mean? So it's only the same thing. Ultimately, if it had been a different club in the Prem the year before last now, like he was at Leeds, say that he were at Brighton or whatever, wherever he'd gone, and then he moved on, got shipped off on loan, and then we ended up signing him in the Championship, you'd have to suggest that you'd be on board with that. Who ultimately are you going to bring in the Championship side? I'm not saying the bloke's got a particular amount of pedigree, and I'm not ready to, call him by his first name, as somebody keeps commenting on my thing, like calling him Brendan. I'm not quite ready to be, pretending that I know and like the bloke. But ultimately, I think it'll be decent, won't it? It's Championship football. It will have a lot of the ball as well, because he's decent on ball. I know he's a bit lightweight and he flies about a bit, but there's loads of talks going around that he's been in gym and all this stuff. But I don't know. It's a decent signing. If you just take everything out of it, you'd be interested. You'd be at least interested to see what he can come up with in Championship if you knew about him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're on board. Just start calling him Starboy like me, mate. That's the way to go.
Also, I just want to say, with the building players up, with the knocking players down rather when they want to leave,
yeah.
I think we equally build players up. So I 100%. Think it's, you get Summerville's become this elevated player on the basis that when he leaves, he becomes the worst player at the club as well. So it's like you do they get best of both worlds there, really. Because there is a chance he goes to Brighton and just does what like Ben Rama did at West Ham, or like, you know, there's plenty of players that do decent numbers and then go. I mean, I don't know exactly Ben Rama's numbers, but I would imagine he did in the same.
Well, he got sold, didn't he? I think he's in France now, Ben Rama. To be
fair.
He's
gone, and he couldn't really get a game for West Ham, could he? And, you know, there was actually talk when we went up, we were on about signing him, weren't we? And a lot of fans didn't want that. Yeah. So, you know, that would be Summerville now if we went up, you know.
Yeah. No,
they're unproven in Prem, really.
Yeah.
They've shown glimpses, haven't they? But
yeah, no, exactly. You're right, mate. What about you, Joe? Any thoughts on Aaronson?
I'm in the sort of camp of you might as well. I mean, no one's going to buy him from us. No one's going to loan him. So we might as well just fully commit. There's no point having a player for the season going into it being like, he's shit, he's going to be shit, and we're doomed. Just let's have a smile. Let's have a good time. And in the Romania match yesterday, you know how much I back players based on their performance in Football Manager. Brendan Aaronson scored 8 for me so far this season, so it's going really well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sod it. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
The same one game then. I thought.
On that though, right? When we're talking about, we've got to talk about Maximilian Wober's stinker last night and what that means, because obviously this guy was saying, I don't want to talk about my future until after the Euros. He plays last night, he gets a yellow card, scores an own goal and gets hooked. Good finish. Yeah, it was funny watching Gary Neville, Roy Keane, and Ian Wright talk about it, saying, "What is he doing? Like, it's just absolute insanity." With the others, let's talk about it, Joe. I'll come to you because we've still got Aaronson and Kristensen and Wober. Them two now, because I think Rocker's sorted. I think Harrison's sorted. It's these two.
You have Rente as well, who may not be sorted anymore with the Mats Hummels thing. Okay.
Did not know that. But if we look at them two who are at the Euros, Kristensen can't get a game. I think Wober won't start another game now. I think he'll get taken out for the next game, personally. I thought he was that poor. What does that mean for them? And are you... Because, again, I seen some posts, Leeds fans... I know it was... I was like going like thinking it's all about me, but like I seen a thing that said, people are digging out Wober, but they'll be sucking him off when he has to come back or something like that. And I certainly won't, because I don't rate either of them two, to be honest. I don't rate either of them. But what do you think where do their futures lie, and would they do a job at Leeds and stuff?
That's the difference, because that's when he'd be a great player for us because we're in the Championship, and that's the caveat that will be used for every single player who walked out on us to be accepted back. But it doesn't really matter. It's about getting back into the Premier League, and I just wish you wouldn't sacrifice all of our morals completely just to bring these guys back, because they're mercenaries as far as I'm concerned. That's all they are. And I include Brendan in that as well. I will call him by his first name, Jack. but there's it's not from a positive perspective. He needs. As I've always said, I'll back any player to put the Leeds shirt on when they come back and get involved in the team. That's when it starts fresh, and we go forward and we judge them from that. But we shouldn't necessarily always forget the history as well. With Aaronson's situations, I'll still be keeping an eye on the loan release clause right up until the window closes, just to see if anybody has a sniff around, and then how committed is he at that point. But with Wober, I don't think the game last night makes any difference about what his future was going to be. He's had a very, very good season in Germany. Any club that was watching him isn't going to change their mind on the back of one international match. And, considering who he was up against, Mbappe, they're not going to... Any club that was thinking about him...
Mbappe, who was that again?
I did call him average at one point, but then I have a history of doing that. So, I don't think it puts anybody off him. Really, I don't think that game really matters. And you're right, he possibly sits out the next game, but I think he probably comes back in again at some point in place. But I think he'll still go. Kristensen's the one that I'm dreading. I'm just dreading, because I don't want him in a Leeds shirt. I don't think he's good enough. If you go through his time at Leeds, he was constantly criticised by the fans for his position and his defensive. His best game for Leeds was central midfield against Arsenal. His best game for Roma's have been right wing back, as an attacking wing back, when he's done okay there, and that's probably his best position. But the Italian media have ripped him apart on several occasions this year, calling his basic defending inept. Then you go to the Danish team in the warm-up for the Euros, and the Danish media ripped him apart in their final game leading into the Euros. So over a 3-year period, there's just been every single media that he's been in the country of or playing matches that are related to have taken him apart for his his basic defending ability, and we don't need that next year. And I keep going back to the same thing, as if he starts the season at right back for Leeds, I can see Archie Gray being back at right back by the middle of the season, because it means we won't go for a right back. We'll just give him the position, and either Sam Boyer or Archie will end up there at some point, but he won't finish the season for us. I don't want to see him back. I know nobody's probably going to buy him. I try and loan him out to anybody else. To be honest with you, I don't care who takes him.
Yeah, Luke as well, right? Here's a question for you. Wober's a left-sided centre-back. Would you play him over Pascal?
Nah, simply. But I don't think. I think Wober would have a lot of work to do if he was. I still don't think. I think I'm with Gerard. I don't think he comes back. I think somebody will sign Wober for less than £10 million, something around about that, maybe between 7 and 10. There was lots of clubs obviously interested. He had a relatively good lunch, and look, playing up against France, and who are probably going to be the European champions, if we're honest, but not based on last night's performance, but the strength and depth they've got. I looked at their bench, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and all those on the bench. They've just got too much class for me. I think they win it at a canter, to be fair. But yeah, I don't think last night. I mean, he was poor, but I still don't think he's at Ellen Road next season. But if he was, I don't know. He doesn't replace anybody. Junior Firpo, if he plays at left back, and Pascal plays at left centre back. So yeah, he's arguably got to go somewhere, because he's going to be playing. He's going to be third choice or second choice. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Do we think, obviously, with Summerville, if we do sell him for the big price that's been touted about, do we think that means anyone else has to leave? There's been a lot of talk, like maybe just one to help balance the books when we think about the six. Well, we still don't know the figure outright yet, but the big, the big Red Bull sponsorship. Is anyone concerned anyone else could also leave? Because I look at Summerville and I think, right, that means Archie's staying at least for another year. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone else think let's talk about Gnonto, actually. What happens with Gnonto? Because I was talking to Andrea about this. The way Italy value players, they don't have the money that Leeds United would want for a Gnonto. You're not going to get the 30 million that was touted about at the end of last season for Everton, or 40, whatever it is.
No, it's 4. 4 Inter Milan are rating him at 4 million.
Oh, well, there you go. 4 million, exactly. So Italy are wild with their valuations, or just don't have the cash. And they still manage to get deals done, mad loan deals and all this. They take the piss like we've seen with Llorente. They get it done. But do we think he could stay? Because no one's banging down the door.
I'd be very surprised if he's a Leeds player next season.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, just because the Italian set up and because he wants to be playing at the higher level. We know how he behaved last summer. Look, I wouldn't be too, again, similar with Summerville. I wouldn't be too disheartened if he left, because I think what he offers is replaceable. But with some as well. So I don't know if you remember the interview Parag did with I think it was the BBC, was it?
Yeah.
BBC. And he mentioned about players coming in who add more to the team. And the work ethic and how they're looking for people with the certain mentality and that sort of thing. And I think he's hinting at potentially the players who kicked up a bit of a fuss potentially last season, but also we want players simply who want to be at Ellen Road. And Gnonto already showed that he didn't, at least on one occasion last season. So I'd be very, very surprised if he's a Leeds player next year.
Anyone else have a opposite view and thinks he could be, or do we all expect him to leave?
I think he'll want to go, especially if his mate goes. If Krieg goes, that's his best mate. I think that's the last thing to keep him there. Yeah, I agree with Luke. I think he'll want to go. Whether anyone's willing to pay the money after not an amazing season for Willie. He had patches of very good moments last season, but he had a lot of frustration last year as well. He was one of my most frustrating players to watch last year. I don't see a huge amount of clubs willing to pay what Leeds will want for him, which is over 20 million. I just don't see... If you were looking at an Gnonto season on its own last year, would you pay £20 million for him? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It's going to be interesting, the Gnonto one, isn't it? It might have to be a loan with a view to a buy or something like that to try and get his value up if he doesn't want to stay, because I've got a feeling he'll want to, or at least his agent will be pushing him out of the door for sure. He'll be trying to get clubs all over the place. Anyone else think anyone could exit? Goalkeeper, Bamford, I know everyone wants Bamford to leave, but is anyone, I think it's going to stay quite similar. Yeah. Yeah.
Who pays his wages? That's the big one, because he's on a really nice contract at Leeds and he can sit that out.
Yeah, exactly. You can. You can't
I'm
blame him
in
for that.
a bit of a spot
No.
myself where, as you mentioned earlier with the Summerville thing, as much as once we've sold Summerville, we won't be like financially pressured to sell anyone, it's less that it'll stop us selling anyone else and more we're at least in a strong position to have those negotiations. Because if Willie doesn't want to be here, that's fine, but we don't have the FFP concern. So we can just say, okay, so you're going to pay our price or you're just going to stick around again. And we'll do exactly what we did last year again.
Yeah.
And you'll play pretty well when you come on. But for now, you're not going to come on because you've done the same thing over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say at the start. It's like you want to be in a position where you're not like Villa are under a bit of pressure out there to like just get rid of players, and it's like teams know that, so they're just sort of sniffing around out there. So you want to be in the best position you can be, don't you, for when you're getting rid. Because if you can retain players, it's pretty mint, really, and you're in a position where you can literally hold them. Whereas normally, you need to get them out. So
It's quite, it's funny you mentioned that Villa one because it's ended up being mad. They've ended up getting like 2 players. His wife's also been involved in the transfer to go to Juve as well. It's like fucking mad. It's a crazy one.
The new football.
Yeah,
me and my missus. I'm not going if the missus can go too.
Exactly. It means we get to watch Weston McKennie back in the Premier League. I've got this sneaky, like, I have this thing in the back of my head, like, I'm like, what if he does really well, though?
I bet if he does, yeah.
I don't think he's that bad.
I can't stand him.
I honestly don't. I don't think he's that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's good, but I don't think he's that bad. I think everybody's gone way over the top with this bloke. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit cack, but I think he's decent.
I think it's because he's an unlikable character, because he's quite brash.
Do you know what? I don't think it's him necessarily. I think it's his entourage are his biggest problem. That moron that's on Twitter that follows him around everywhere. I mean, this guy makes out that, he's a big deal. It's like, you're not. You're Weston McKennie's parasite. You're a bit stuck to the end of him because you're a hanger-on. That's all you are, pal. And you're just a mouthpiece on Twitter.
Do you remember when his dad tweeted that picture of
his dad doesn't help him either. Two of them turned fan opinion against Weston McKennie. If they shut up and said nothing, people would leave Weston McKennie alone to play football.
He can take a good long throw in though. We all saw that towards the end of the season.
I know, right?
Big Sam screaming him in to go take it.
It was wild just how good that was, by the way.
I know, he was screaming at him to take it. I thought, what is going on here?
But don't ask Rafinha to take a long throw because he's got one. Don't do that. Jesus.
God. Yeah, exactly. It must be from his quarterback days or what, running back or whatever they are. I don't know. Lockie, you've joined us, mate. I hope you're doing well, mate. Let's chat about Rodon because there's been I don't know how reliable the sources are, but they're saying 10 million now's the amount. I don't think we're going to get this one done, Lockie. I just think there might be a bit of Premier League interest in him after such a good season. Bednarak, I think, is out of contract or could be on his way from Southampton. Could he go alongside Harwood Bellis? Ipswich centre-backs are shit. Leicester, I don't know, maybe they'll have interest. Is Vestergaard ready for the Premier League? Both him and Fass worked last time around, so, they might have a look at it. Do you worry about Rodon coming back?
Originally, I thought we might have a chance, but the longer it goes, the more I think there's probably more clubs that are having a chat with him now. I think it's going to... I'm not too convinced at the moment, mate, to be honest here. I don't think we do. And again, lower value kind of sounds better for us, but then when you think about it, it's better for everyone else as well because they get to pay the same amount. If it's a Premier League side and it's 10 million, then... well, they'll pay that straight away, won't they? That's a no-brainer for a Premier League side. Even if he's a backup, like whatever, it's a good defender to have. So I don't know. The only saving grace for Rodon is we know he really enjoyed it here and he found a home. But if a Premier League side comes in, it's probably tough for him to say no. Yeah. But you never know, mate. But I don't think so. I don't think he'll be here next season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And do you know what the mad thing is? And a lot of people disagree with me, but I think he's easily replaceable in the Championship. You might not get someone of a similar quality, but there are other players out there that can do what Joe Rodon did. For me, he's not... And I know people might have the favourite, but he's not Ben White. Like, for me, Ben White was a Rolls Royce, whereas Rodon... There are many Joe Rodons out there, and there's a reason why Ben White's playing Champions League and, getting called up to England even though he doesn't want it kind of vibe. Or am I being too harsh on Joe Rodon?
No,
I think we're probably have been a bit too harsh. I thought he was absolutely outstanding for us last season. I thought he put his body on the line when nobody else wanted to. He sometimes changed the game just from his defending. I'd move heaven and earth to sign him for 10 million quid.
If you can get him,
I
I think the 10 million quid is the starting point, though. Sorry, like you had.
I think as a profile, like in the Championship for a centre back, a good one. I don't think you need to be extraordinary, if that makes sense. You look at the defenders who are really the best in the Championship. A lot of them are just experienced centre backs or really young ones with high potential. There's no once you have something extra at centre back, you're out of the Championship straight away, basically, because the Premier League needs you. So I do think, obviously, he was ridiculous and probably one of our top 3 players for me. But I do think there's a lot of players out there that you could get in to do a similar job. Pascal will be back as well. But yeah, Luke's right. I would love to keep him. It's continuity. It's bringing back a player that was one of your best players, right? But will we? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
I think just how much more composed we looked as a unit, as a full team whenever he played. We've only got to look at the games that he missed and whoever played beside him, whether it's Struijk, whether it was Cooper, whether it was Ampadu, he just controlled it naturally. If you watch him, obviously when you're watching on telly, it's very difficult to see just how many instructions he's giving out. But when you watch him in the stadium, he's literally just pointing left, right, and centre. He's talking all the time. He's a natural leader, and not necessarily a captain. He didn't. I don't think he captained his last season at any stage, did he? No. But he has got that natural leadership. He's got that experience as well at playing with Spurs and as well at Wales. So I think I'd be sort of going all out to sign him. And the fact that he hasn't said goodbye does fill me with a little bit of hope. So yeah, I still think it's very much 50-50, that one. I think the promoted side might well be interested, but they've got to convince him still that he's going to have, he's going to be going into a relegation battle if he signs for any of those, whereas he might want to be part of a promotion race.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a couple of bits with him. Like, if you look at how he plays as a footballer, his ball carrying's good, his distribution is good. If you look at how he reads the game, he's probably one of the best we had at the back. He was the one that, again, looking at the final, he's the one that's in front of the goalkeeper when there's a save made to clear the ball. He identifies where danger is. He gets there early. If you look at the bigger mistakes that were made during the season last year, with Liam Cooper's offside when we put his hand up and there was players 10 yards behind him, Ampadu did the exact same thing in the final as well. You didn't see Rodon making those kind of mistakes at all throughout the season. His reading of the game was very good. His position of play is very, very good. Not everyone's a Ben White. Not everyone's Ben White was a fantastic footballer. Joe Rodon doesn't have to be necessarily an amazing footballer. He needs to be very good defending and have a decent bit of distribution. But he started so many attacks for Leeds coming out of the back, bursting forward. Now, I know Struijk will do that next year when he comes back in because he started last season doing that. But it's nice to have two players that could do that and, change the direction of the attack from the back every time we do it. And I think there's a lot of, for 10 million quid, I think there's a lot of benefit to getting him. I agree with Lockie, the fact that he hasn't said goodbye, or Luke, sorry, he hasn't said goodbye yet. So I think there's still something in that, but I think the £10 million price tag is probably a starting point. I think they've lowered the price tag to get interest in the player and have gone, he's 10 million. Southampton, Ipswich and Leeds get involved. Well, now it's going to be a bit more. They'll probably go to 15 to get what they want in the end. But the other piece around, again, what Luke said about the relegation, he knows exactly what Leeds is like inside and out. He knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes. He knows all the aspects of what the club is. He knows the plans. He knows the future plans for the club. He doesn't know that with Ipswich and Southampton, and it would be a gamble to go there. He might be taking 1 year Premier League football to be back in the Championship next year, whereas if he sticks with Leeds and if Leeds can get promoted, which they need to this year, the club's in a much stronger position than it was, and you would imagine Leeds will be able to sustain themselves as a Premier League club moving forward after that, and he might want to be part of that.
Yeah, and Rodon played in the Premier League before. That's the thing. It's not this new. He's played there and didn't have a good time. I know it's a higher level than he'll probably go back to, but he's played there before. Another thing as well, he's getting in the national team regardless. A lot of these players play in the Premier League for the Premier League, obviously, but to get in their national side, right? That's the peak of it. They want to play for the country. He will in the Championship. If he gets in Leeds United's team, he'll be there for years, and we'd absolutely love him. Like, he's that type of player. So it is whether we can be competitive in terms of what we can offer him, I guess, the goals we have, all that stuff's important because he'll want to be in the side that is in the Premier League, arguably in the next season, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think we will, but I'd love it if we did. If we could pull that off, I'd be really happy.
How much do you think the other Welsh lads will be a bit of a draw? Having Ampadu and Dan James, Jan James. There's been talk of Connor Roberts coming back as well. How much draw do you think that has? Because we know what it's like if you can play football at that level, but actually play with your mates as well. That's got to have a bit more of an initiative for him to come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like I said, he's played in the Prem. Like he's done that, and maybe he's not in such a rush to get back there. Maybe he wants to spend time with a competitive side who is very close, let's be honest, to get in there and is the favourites to get back there. Like Jess, it's just a year, isn't it? Realistically, if you think about it, if we achieve what we should, with the squad we have. So it's the money though. Well. It's the wages and stuff that you.
I think if let's say, I hear what you're saying though, because let's say Gus Hamer doesn't get a move from Sheffield United, you're asking him, was it worth it, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? After a year in the Premier League. Jack, did you want to say something on Rodon?
No, just the only thing harsh about is just the comparison with Ben White, really, because they're not. It's an unfair comparison, isn't it? We got Ben White knowing that it was going to be, well, not Brighton knew what they had with him, didn't they? I don't think Rodon's. I mean, how old was Ben White when he signed for us?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
He'd never played a game for them.
I wish I'd have never asked you if you don't say now.
You what?
I wish I'd have never asked you if you don't say now after just smashing my Ben White comparison.
No, it's not that. I understand the bit, but it's only because he was the centre back in the Championship for us when we were awesome, isn't it? Rodon does play a similar way. Jay outlined all the ways. He brings the ball out. His distribution's good. He's everything Ben White is. He's just nowhere near as good as Ben White. That's not. Yeah, but he's still he's an excellent centre back for us, isn't he? I'm not sure. The only thing I would say as well, do you think, and I'm not trying to be argumentative or all, but do you think the players actually do care about the pals genuinely, or do you think if they go to Brighton, they'll make loads of mates in Brighton? They're all decent lads out there, genuinely.
They'll want to play though. Rodon will want to play. Yeah, that's my.
Yeah, of course, they want to play. Yeah, but I don't think
it's different. I think it's different stages of your career as well. I think at certain points in your career, it's you and you're focused on you. But then you look at the problems that Joe Rodon's gone through. You look at the last 2 seasons he had before Leeds. Neither of them went well. He's had a year with his pals who he knows really, really well, and it's gone really, really well for him. You've got to imagine he enjoyed that season, even if they didn't get up. You've got to imagine that was a lot of fun for him this year, and he might want to do that again next year. And again, to Lockie's point, knowing what it's like in the Premier League and what it's like to not play with them, maybe he just goes, look, it's another year with these guys, then I'll go up with them, and then I'd rather play with my pals.
I actually think that's more of a risk than we're all letting on. I think you've got to get on with it a bit. I think he'll proper believe in his ability. I think he'll think everywhere that he's been prior, he will not be happy with how it's gone in general. He'll have a massive point to prove. He won't agree with the fact that the managers won't play him for a start off, because most players don't. They're very insular and think, no, I'm the best, because I'm the best centre forward in the world, me. So it's like I'm expecting to play. It's like that's how it is. And so I just think they'll back themselves. And if he hangs around, I hope he does. I love him, but if he hangs around and it doesn't happen, it is his fault. And I always think when singularly, if you make all your own decisions, if it goes wrong, at least you got it wrong. It's not. I just think waiting. I don't know if he'll want to wait around. How old is he now? Is he 27?
Yeah, he's getting on, isn't he?
He's going to have to get on with it if he wants to have a few years in Prem. I don't know if he can really be hanging around.
But will he be having a few years in Prem with a Southampton, with an Ipswich, with those?
But we're not in the Prem. You're talking as though we're in.
No. I think
it's guaranteed, Jack. It's guaranteed.
Well, I agree, but I'm not Rodon.
Yeah. Do you are you happy with Rodon being a high ticket item, folks?
I don't know if he is the high ticket item, to be honest, because we
also
need to build in other spots is the thing, because as much as we say high,
would you expect us to spend that twice over then if we're going to get another high ticket item?
Genuinely, maybe, depending on how much the 49ers want to throw at it. Because
it depends what's available as well.
Yeah, but also at the same time, you've got but between really loans and frees, you can get big names that would be high tickets that just don't have.
No, but I'm talking transfer fee, Joe.
Oh,
this is what I'm talking. Would you want him to be that? Because obviously Graham Smith did that Q&A and he said he expects one big signing. So, like we did last summer. Well, then again, we did spend 7 million on Ampadu and 12 on. Yeah, maybe I'm clearly trying to sell Joe Rodon.
The original.
Why I don't want to talk about the money thing all the time. Not on the show. I'm happy to talk about money on the show. But it's just,
It's time.
what's it matter? I don't get it. I forgot how much Ampadu's worth or how much we spent on him. He was a mint signing. I wouldn't care if Ampadu were 25 million. That'd have been a brilliant signing, wouldn't it? Do we all agree? So I don't understand why, why we have to go out and get this Spanish lad who's 35 million. I just don't get it. Everybody's satisfied then. Obviously sign the Spanish lad for 35 million if he's, as good as Messi. But I just don't get the. We spent 35 million, so they're not messing about now.
It's always kind of shown that if you were having an ambitious window or not was how much money you were going to spend. But from where we are now and the owners that we have, and look what they did last year, they'll look for value where they can get it. They'll look to make good signings without breaking the bank.
I can spend money.
Yeah, but they also prove with Pirro that if there's a player that they particularly want, they will pay the asking price for him and they will go and get him. And and that maybe Rodon is the one player.
It's a bit of a flex. It's something. We're the big boys in the league. But I would be happy with, just going back to your question, Joe. I would be happy with Joe Rodon being the high ticket. But there's been talk of him coming back on a loan with an obligation to buy a promotion and things like that as well. That. So that sort of thing would then remove that, and actually would still have the 15 million on one player left to actually have a look at other high value items, but with the right level of value, I suppose, in the deal. So if he does come back, I very much expect it to be a loan with a view to buy or obligation on promotion.
Staying with you, Luke. Obviously, we're gonna have to start bringing in players soon. Like which key areas of the pitch are you looking at, and do you expect us to get deals done in?
But again, it depends who goes, but I would expect with Brendan coming back, I wouldn't expect us to go searching now for number 10, but that would have been my priority. Sorry, Aaronson coming back.
Just called BA7 or Starboy works.
Yeah, our Brendan. With our Brendan coming back, so that would have been my priority. I said it ever since the winter transfers last season when Rutter started playing absolutely great, and everyone said, "Right, we don't need a 10 ever again." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still not convinced." So, but I think Aaronson could actually impress us at this level. So, I don't think that would be a key area. I think right back's key. I think we need a right back immediately, and potentially a somebody to play up front. I don't want to say striker because we've seen to have about 10 of them. We seem to have 10 strikers, but none of them can play as a striker. Bamford's always injured. Mateo's going to the Olympics, and it might not be going. Might not be going.
Yeah, might not be going.
That's a important piece, I think, because that will not just he can decide if he wants to go or not. Arsenal have already said their players aren't going to the Olympics. End of story. So because it's outside the FIFA calendar, they don't get the chance to push it. It's the club's decision. But what'd be really interesting is if you see Mateo Joseph Leeds letting him go, that possibly gives you an insight into where Daniel Farke's head at with the player. Because for 100%. Me, he missed last preseason after starting. Sorry, he missed the start of the season last year after a really good preseason where he started a lot of games, and then just couldn't get back into the starting 11 until the Chelsea game. If he misses preseason again this year and isn't involved in the team for the start of the season, because at the Olympics, Leeds will go out and get another striker. They'll have to. Yeah. They'll have to. So that'll push him further down the pecking order. So it's a big decision for Mateo to decide whether he wants to go or not, but it's also a really interesting point for us as fans to keep an eye on what Farke decides to do, because if he lets him go, I think it tells you everything you want to know about Farke's decision on Joseph. But if he keeps him, probably going to be involved. And then maybe don't need a striker. But I would agree with Luke. I would have liked to see us buy a striker and a 10 as priorities. But I think the fullbacks are going to be the ones to get sorted first.
Yeah. I don't think they'll let him go, I don't think they'll let him go. But like you said, if he does, then that tells you Farke doesn't rate him.
I think that very much depends on the conversation Daniel Farke has with him. Either he says you're our number 9 and you're staying, or you're going to be second, third choice. You can go and
get some games.
Have a jolly in the sun, Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
But at the same time, he might be the number one in that conversation and be saying, look, I quite desperately want to get into this Spain squad because lots and lots of Spain fans are pissed off at Morata all the time. The only way that I gain favour with that unit is if I can potentially prove myself for the youth sides. And it might be a case of, even though we might not necessarily want him to go, he might be pushing quite hard for it behind the scenes.
I think there's an argument from
as
do
a
that
club,
without
though,
going to
we
the
have to
Olympics.
go tough shit, mate.
Yeah, that's our call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is
I
that.
still think, Joe, I still think he can do exactly what you're saying he can do with the friendlies for the 21s, on 21 matches. He's still on the 21 for another 2 years. So, you know, and he's only starting to come off the bench for the 21s now. So, you know, he has plenty of time to impress the senior team. I know he seems like a very hungry striker and wants to play now. And it's great that he wants to play games. And that could be the conversations. Like, are you going to start me at the start of the season? Will you be very much involved in more than last year? Am I going to start? Well, probably not. Right. Can I go to the Olympics and start and get some minutes under my belt and prove to you that I should be starting week in week? It could be Farke that he has to prove it to, not Spain that he has to prove it to.
Like, I think Mbappe's been told by Real Madrid, you're not going either. Do you know what I mean? And I think he'd want to go for the flagship player and all that sort of
They're all
stuff.
going to miss the start of the season if they go. I mean, they don't. The football doesn't finish until the 9th of August and the season starts on the 10th.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to give them 2 weeks off for holidays then as well and to recover.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a no. It's a hard no from me. But like you said, if Farke said yes, then we'll have to wait and see. Lockie, key positions for you, mate. What do we need?
Well, we lose Cree. We'll need a replacement of some sort on the wing. Gnonto as well. We had what 4 or 5 wingers last year. We could have one at the start of this season if we'd sell Gnonto and Summerville, if we do. So definitely there, but that's for me 1 in, 1 out in terms of the wingers. I don't think we need to bring one in unless we sell one of them. Centre back as well, mate. Just looking at it, say Wober does go, Cooper leaves, you know, Rodon doesn't sign a new contract or come back. You've got Pascal Strauch and Creswell. That's not enough. One gets injured or he doesn't even trust Creswell. We won't know. But if one gets injured, you're in big trouble. So centre back, winger, definitely right back. I think, CDM, we're good. We've got Gurev, Ampadu, Crew. Midfield, we're actually all right. I just want a different profile in there, to be honest, mate. A bit more of an attacking number 8, I think. I think they're the key ones. Yeah, centre back. Sorry, I'm looking over here because where my thing is. Centre back, right back, and winger are the 3 key ones, I think. And attacking midfielder, ideally. A different profile to what we've got.
Do you think if we bring Rodon back, we go in for a centre back, or do we make Creswell rot on
I think
the
that
bench
depends on Creswell and what Farke sees in him. If you get Creswell there and he's pre-season's different, he comes back this year and Farke brings to trust him, that's an excellent option to have, let's be honest. But will he do that? What do you guys think? I'm not too sure. I don't know about the Creswell stuff. I don't know if he'll trust him.
I'm not convinced. Yeah. Although he's back
I
doing
like
his
Creswell.
work.
I really like Creswell. Yeah,
So
he's working hard pre-season,
But it feels like Creswell throughout has been sort of vibe, so it's a bit
tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But say he doesn't trust Creswell, we still only got Wober as Eastain, so we still need a backup. Unless we bring someone in from the youth, which I don't think they're ready yet. So yeah. Maybe 2 centre backs if that's the case.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Is Stuart Armstrong available on a free transfer?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he is, mate. Yeah. We're taking him.
He's also made of chocolate.
Yeah.
Scored 20 had goals last year though for us up front, so I wouldn't say no.
No.
And we've loads of players made of chocolate. He'd fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyone else want to wade in with any sort of key positions or anyone needs? Anybody?
People are saying goalkeeper in the chat. What do you think about that?
No.
If we go up.
Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah, if you're looking at a squad for the Championship and your first thought is Meslier isn't good enough for this league, then I think you need to start looking a little bit beyond that and beyond your sort of pre-built agendas.
I don't know. Joe Wayman there had a very scary stat that he threw out not so long ago, which...
Yeah.
I'll just say it, from my opinion as well, I'm seeing Rodak. I don't think he's better than Meslier from what I've seen. I really don't. Okay. That's just my opinion.
I hold my view firmly with Joe. That is summed up perfectly.
Yeah.
We do need to strengthen in every single position that every other team needs to strengthen in, though. So everybody needs to remember that as well.
Yeah.
Wherever we're looking, so is everybody else in the world.
Jack, I'm going to ask you: are you worried about next season, or do you think it's going to be not? Listen, I don't want to say cakewalk, but are you more comfortable going into this next season looking at the opposition?
Yeah, you'd have to say so, wouldn't you? It was an outrageous season last year, wasn't it? And we were right in there with it. So yeah, and I think Farke will get. I really do think I just think we'll repeat rinse repeat really what we've done.
Yeah.
Because really, you know, I know we sort of went a bit flaky like everybody did towards end, but it's only because there was so much, a balmy amount of pressure on that running towards end for every single team on it. None of them wanted it. Well, they all wanted it, but none of them could take it. So I think you're all due a ropey 6-7 games out you where you feel like you've thrown it away a bit. But the competition I wouldn't imagine would be as vigorous this year. And top two, you've only got to be, only got to be best top two. Only got to be top two teams. But yeah, replace Summerville for me. And then obviously up top, hopefully get Rodon. And yeah.
HMS piss the league, yeah? Is that what we're saying?
Well, that's where I'm living, yeah.
We're going early, but we might as well.
Yeah. Listen, I want us front and centre from game one. Go on, mate.
I was just going to ask, why does someone in chat called Just Joe get a job?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah. I mean, the crack shit. I think it's terrible crack.
It's that bad, it's funny.
Yeah, just to like, while you're sat at home doing whatever you're doing, mate, this is my job, so it's quite luxurious, actually, bro. So it's good work if you can get it, but yeah.
It could be a coincidence, that, Joe. Be fair to him. That could be a total coincidence. He could have been named that for years.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm on Pip, UC, the lot, man. I'm scamming them all, man. Don't worry about it. I've got you hooked up. I think it's going to be relatively, I don't want to say easy, but I expect Leeds United to be front and centre from game week 1 up to 46. And if he's not, then we need to ask questions, don't we?
He gets a month, Joe, for me. He gets a month. This is very different to last season. We've talked about this a couple of times, but it's very, very different. The expectation for this season is to get promoted in the automatic spots. End of story. That's it. No excuses, no bullshit, no summer this, summer that. No, well, we didn't get this done until then, and this didn't happen, and then this guy said this, and don't care. All that was last season. You've had an entire season to assess this squad. You know the gaps that you need to fill. You have a 4-week head start on preseason than you had last year. You know exactly what's needed. The ownership's been in for a year. You've got an entire recruitment team in place now. There are no more excuses for a lazy or quiet summer. Get what you need to get done, and he has to hit the ground running in the summer.
I think he knows that, to be fair to him, doesn't he? Yeah. He's not going to shirk it. He's coming to do it, and he knows what day it is. That's what I like about him, to be honest. He doesn't get to say, judge me at the end of August and the window closes. He doesn't get to say that this year. Sorry, mate, that has to be done before the season kicks off. If you're not ready to go... Looking for an excuse is what I mean. I think if we're shit, he'll be honest about it. I don't think he'll be looking for an excuse, really. You don't see him as that type of bloke, anyway.
No, but I think you'll have a lot more pressure on him early this year than you will last year. I think the voices about replacing the manager will kick in. And if we're mid-table come the end of the first month, I'll be one of the people saying, this isn't where we should be. I mean...
And it's not like you say, it's just not just on the manager, because even Parag said at the end of the season, if we didn't have the first month and everything, the whole lot from top to bottom now has had a full season, a full pre-season, money there to get it right. And if they don't get it right...
as well,
exactly. And I think the club know that. Yeah, I think the club know that as well.
Also, you've had an unusually patient Leeds fan base last season. There was obviously just small pockets of people who wanted Farke out all year, but in general, most of the support had been behind him and the team for the entire season. We saw that even through the little wobbly spells towards the back end of the season, there was still a very big majority of people who were staying back after games and supporting the team. And I think that's the anomaly last year, because a lot of people accepted the fact that, it wasn't an ideal summer. Yeah, the club was a mess. There was a ton of stuff went on. Fair enough. We're in a much better position than we probably thought we would be. We all said it towards the end of the season, would you take in playoffs at the start of the season, given the mess, or especially after the Birmingham game? And we all kind of said, I'd have bit your hand off for it. This year, that's not there. This year, it's automatic promotion or else, and that's the problem. It's you won't get the year with the fan base back and everybody. They will turn on you this year if it doesn't go well quickly. So it's a different kind of pressure that Farke is coming into this year from lots of different quarters. It's not just the vocal minority who want them out. It'll be the wider fan base that will be looking at everything that we've done and gone, well, where's the improvement from last year? Where's the step on from this time last season? They'll want to see that. And I think it's set up to do that. And it's really early in the window to be saying it won't happen. I think it will happen. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about this season. But there will be a very different amount of pressure on Farke and the squad this year.
100%. 100%. We did have a super chat coming from Isaac Leeds. I don't think any of us really know Isaac. The only way we'll tell is whether or not we make a sale before then, I guess.
And that's a positive, by the way. If we don't sell before the 30th of June, that means we don't have a PSR issue.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the most important thing. I think we'll leave it there, lads. Great little roundup. Great to chat to you all as well. I can't lie to you. You all need to get back to work now, myself included. So we better not leave it too long, otherwise
Wait, we have jobs?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
You have a job?
Mine's going to involve going on sunbed. So there you go. Yeah, that'll be me. Yeah, Luke, talk to us about Thursday 8:30. Larry Nance.
Yeah, really, really excited to say that we've got Larry joining us. I think it's myself, Smarty, and Carl. Yeah, just been in contact with him since I met him in the Peacock Beer Garden last year. And really, really nice guy. Happy to come on. Going to have a bit of a chat about sort of his role in the investment, how much he gets to find out, that sort of thing. Really, not going to grill him too much, but yeah, if you want to join us, it's going to be live. So more than welcome to jump on Thursday at 8:30.
Can you ask him how many thousands he put behind the bar when he was at Wembley? Because I heard a story.
I know the answer. I will tell you off stream.
Okay, yes, yeah. There was like a private bar kind of thing for after the game, and I know someone, and many thousands were put behind the bar. So you should ask him that. But
yeah, well, you can join us, Joe. Join us. Come in the live chat, and
I'll ask him that. I'll put a super chat in, so he has to answer it as well.
We don't have super chats. We're not cool enough.
Oh, you're not? All right, okay. You need to switch them on then.
Mate,
I'll talk to you after stream about that.
And maybe Just Joe can get a job, can come on and give us a free super chat.
Yeah. I'll do that. Has anyone got anything else they want to promote while they're on? Any videos they're putting out? Any music they're making or anything like that?
I do have a single coming out on 19th of July.
Hey!
Nice. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah. Tell us more then. Come on.
That's about as far as it goes. That's all.
I'll get a job as Jack's hype man. That's what we need.
Please, man.
I'll do that. Yeah, there's an absolute banger coming out on the 16th of June. You said, right?
19th of July.
19th of July.
Going well.
That's 2 days ago. Joe.
That's 2 days ago.
Came out in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
All next year. Should be a while to wait.
We'll get it promoted, man. We might have to use it on an intro or something like that, so we can get it promoted for you, bro. Just don't copyright me.
Charge for that stream, Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Lockie, anything out on players at all?
I did a lone player video yesterday. If anyone wants to watch that.
Yeah, go check that out as well.
There will be one tomorrow. I don't know which one. I might do Summerville replacement potentially.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah, man. Joe, just news video. Have you got your podcast out?
Podcast will be Thursday night, recorded for Friday. News is out today, and I've managed to get it right today. As yesterday, I put the news out in 15 minutes after I published the headline, "No offers for Leeds players." And then as soon as I hit publish, it was like, Brighton have put a bid in for Summerville. I was like, well, that's that video ruined. I'm not going to take it down and leave it. So yeah, today's video is out with a lot more detail on the situation around Summerville as well, and the stuff from Romano, and some stuff about Rodon, and also Leeds being linked with Trey Hume.
Nice, that would be a great buy, by the way. Joe B, you've got an FM stream coming up. Anything else?
I do. I've got a Football Manager stream at 3. There's a charity walk thing I'm doing in August, but I'm going to talk about that later on and shill it in various places. But that's not what I'm going to shill now. A little side thing that is nothing to do with my channel at all. Today is the deadline to register to vote in the UK, so do that. I don't care who you vote for, just vote. People died for your right to vote. Maybe use it.
There you go. I also second this. You do need to vote. I know people say it doesn't. They have no. Oh, my vote don't fucking. It does matter. You should vote. And again, I will tell you where to vote. Get the fucking Tories out. Anyway, we'll leave it there on that big note. Okay, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. Hit the notification bell. I'll see you back here at R4 for a stream of Georgia versus Turkey. That massive match that's going to be there. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Bye bye.